Self-reliance is India's strongest deterrence. When the Prime Minister spoke about defense in his 135th edition of Mann Ki Baat, many may have heard a list of achievements before as well. That is, Indigenous long-range land attack cruise missile, new naval warships joining the fleet, and the first flight of Made in India C-135 transport aircraft. However, I heard something different. I heard India's strategic doctrine. For decades, India's measured military strength by what it imported. Today, it is beginning to measure power by what it designs, builds, and exports. And that is a profound shift. Look at the timing. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most volatile maritime choke points. Nearly two-thirds of India's crude oil imports pass through the Gulf. So any disruption in West Asia is not just an energy crisis. It is a national security challenge. In such an environment, India cannot depend on foreign supply chains that may themselves be disrupted by war or sanctions or geopolitics. This is where Atmanirbhar Bharat becomes far more than an economic slogan. It becomes a strategic necessity. An indigenous cruise missile means India controls its own precision strike capability. Indigenous naval platforms mean Indian Navy can sustain operations without waiting for overseas suppliers. The C-295 production line means India is not merely assembling aircraft, it is building an aerospace ecosystem that will support future military and civilian aviation. These are not isolated achievements. They are part of one of the larger architecture of national resilience. And that matters beyond India's borders. For Pakistan, the message is clear. The military balance is no longer changing only because India is buying advanced weapons. It is changing because India is developing industrial capacity to continuously build, upgrade, and replace them in case of war. A country that can produce at scale is far harder to outlast in any prolonged confrontation. For China, the signal is more strategic. Beijing's greatest advantage has never been just its military, it has been its manufacturing ecosystem. India's response is not to mirror China's numbers overnight, but to build its own defense industrial base capable of reducing dependence and sustaining military power over decades. That contributes to regional stability in an important way. Strong indigenous capability does not automatically increase conflict. In many cases, it reduces the temptation for any miscalculation. The real story, therefore, is not a missile, a warship, or an aircraft. The real story is that India is gradually replacing dependence with capability. In the 21st century, the strongest nations will not simply be those that possess advanced weapons. They will be the nations that can continue designing, manufacturing, and supporting those weapons regardless of what happens elsewhere in the world. So that is the journey India has begun. And that, in my view, is the most important strategic message coming out from this month's Mann Ki Baat.